Hey everybody, it's Pete. Thank you so much for choosing to be with me today. We're going to go down a big list of the top stocks to buy. We're actually going to be creating a game plan, a trading game plan for Tuesday, June 15th, just ahead of the FOMC policy announcement on Wednesday. Traditionally for me, one of those days in my game plan where I take a step back. As far as today's trading, Monday's trading, wow, what a close we had on Monday today. And it actually brings up the quote that we talk about all the time, is never short a dull market. Now, I know the market, especially the SPY ETF, has been sitting at fresh all-time highs. We actually calculated today, or noticed on the charts, that we've now had 7 consecutive melted candles on the daily chart of the SPY. If you don't happen to know what a melted candle is, stick around. I'll tell you as soon as we get back. Okay, so melted candles are very clearly where, let's say for argument's sake, we open here, trade all the way up here. That body of the candle is usually called what we call an energy candlestick. But a melted candle is where you open here, trade all the way up here, and then basically close in the same area that you opened. So it's a melted candle because you had a big body and now there's a small body, and it opened and closed in basically the same spot. That's what we had in the market again today, despite, and we'll take a look at it in a second, what a close on Monday afternoon, especially in the SPY. A couple of stocks that got beat up, Caterpillar being one of them. Found a bottom, had a nice $3 rally at the end of the day. Nice job by Chris Furris in our community, and a really good job by Raphael too, who called out a trade in our in the swing trade program just prior to the market opening and shared it. And it actually had a really good breakout today, and I'll share that one with you today too. But I want to talk about Apple. Oh my gosh, Apple! Did it finally wake up? Did it finally a week after? Is it the stock to buy right now? Finally got out of a trading range, breaking out of an inside candlestick, has $8 profit potential to the next level, has very, very, very little, I don't know, make sure I say it the right way, has very little obvious bullish order flow over time. It had bearish order flow for about 6 weeks, pulled back, went sideways, finally broke out. We had a really good, what we call energy candlestick, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. But first, we're going to head right over to the market, and we're going to take a look and show you what I mean by those melted candles. So if we zoom out a little bit here, if you can visualize now this being a candle that has a large body, and then look over here, and the large body, because the distance between where it opened and where it closed is a big distance, that's an energy candlestick, right? Big body. Look at the SPY right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 out of the last 7 candlesticks were melted candlesticks, which represent indecision. This is the most amazing stock market that I think I've ever seen at all-time highs, where it just doesn't seem like there's euphoric excitement about it. And I'm going to actually explain why it feels that way and why it actually looks that way as well. But what was I talking about? This, if you happen to not be day trading at the end of the day, you're going to be logging into your machine like, oh, wow, the SPY was almost up $1 today. Big deal. Yeah, that's what we got at the end of the day. It was, if you're a day trader right now, if you're day trading stocks and you were watching what we were watching today, it was just an amazing end of day. Again, I'll get back to what Chris called out before. He had a nice classic technical analysis, almost a triple bottom here in CAT at 216. It had a nice rally for $3 at the end of the day. But getting back to the SPY, the point that I want to get across here is very, very simple. Once you really dig in and you learn and you study and you try and improve all the time with being an active stock trader, there's certain characteristics, there's certain things that you're looking for. I'm laughing because my wife makes fun of me when she watches my videos. All I'm doing is moving my hands. I'm Italian. There's certain characteristics that you want to see happen to have conviction. And that's really going to take us into the next thing we're going to talk about, which is conviction and how long do you hold your winning trades. Right now, with all of these melted candles, and we're not seeing a lot of breakouts. We're not seeing the massive stocks, the massive leaders, the stocks you would normally expect to be breaking out, making new highs, and seeing follow through. We're seeing 1, 2, 3 days and pulling back, 2 days and pulling back. So we're a little bit more inclined right now to be booking profits a little bit quicker than we would like to. Of course, we understand risk 1 to make 3 and have initial profit targets. Love to have that right now, but we're just not seeing the follow through across the board. I'm not talking about individuals. We're seeing some individual stocks. We had a really good one set up today, and I'll show you that one in a second. But this is what you really need to be focusing on right now. You can't force the market that you don't have. I know that's a lot of negatives, and an easier way to say that is you need to trade the market you got. And right now we're trading a market where stocks are breaking out for 2 days and then almost retracing that half, if not more than that, over the next 2 days. So we're more inclined right now because of the conditions we're in right now. I'm not saying that's the trading game plan. You have to drive in the traffic that you're in. We're not in open road right now and everybody's stepping on the gas. However, something is about to happen. If you've ever heard Dow Theory, which is a really old school way of looking at the market, and it used to be about the Dow and the transportation index. Now we talk about the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow. When all three of those are quote unquote on the same page and breaking out, that's called confirmation. And that's when you could lean into trades a little better. That's when you see follow through and maybe even have a little bit more share size. And then you shift into other types of profit taking modes, as opposed to you're up a certain amount, it starts to get weak and you take half off the table. Right now, I'm actually going to go over to the chart. We'll take a look at it right now. So you can see where the SPY has been this whole time. If we go over to the NASDAQ was lagging up until the last 4 or 5 sessions. So now the NASDAQ has caught up, and the diamond, if we take a look at that as well, that is also sitting here. If the Dow stocks, which we actually have this list over here, which was mostly negative today, if the Dow stocks catch a bid with the way the SPY is trading right now and the way tech stocks and a lot of tech stocks and a lot of the financial stocks used to be trading, but now they're getting weak as well. If the SPY, the NASDAQ, and the Dow all start to trade and see energy candlesticks at all-time highs, we move away from divergence where you're less aggressive. So let's say the Dow, Dow and the S&P are strong, but the NASDAQ's not yet. That's a divergence. But when all three of them are on the same page, that's when you expect follow-through. But we're not seeing that under the hood right now. We have the magic game plan out here, and we're seeing some breakouts, but not across the board. So what am I trying to get across here? What I'm trying to get across here is I'm not trading size yet. I'm still managing my initial risk with lower share size until we start to see follow through a little better. We're booking profits a little bit sooner. I had somebody ask me a good question today. When you get a really good trade that goes parabolic and starts coming down just as fast, you don't want to be using those longer term moving averages, because you're going to give back all that profit with the way things are melting. And I'll show you an example in one of the stocks that we had from last week. That's when you shift down. So I'm actually going to go over to the chart. I'm going to show you how to do this right now. So let's just actually use the example of this one of the stocks that we had on from last week that we called, which was JKS. Normally we'll be in there with what we call, the multiple time frames. If you're long from lower time frames and you don't want to give back some of this profit, it's very common to drop down to shorter time frames, specifically the hourly chart for swing trades, and you'll have a little bit of a tighter window and you're not giving back all of that profit, which would have been all the way down in this area. So what's the bottom line? What does it really come down to right now? The bottom line is this. We're not in a perfect market until, and we're getting close, until we start to see more of the bigger stocks breaking out, which takes us right into Apple right now, which is something that's pretty exciting. So Apple stock gave us what we call a fuel candlestick today. You can see how hard we've been working the chart, just waiting for this thing to pick a direction. Let me get this off the screen right now. It really didn't do anything, right? We actually had the stock split. We traded along. If you remember, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that 138 has been the level we've been watching. So we actually traded down for a few weeks, went sideways for a few weeks, absolutely nothing to get excited about until today. Today we got a textbook energy candlestick, larger body candlestick, increased volume coming out of an inside candlestick, coming out of a trading range with $8 profit potential on the trade. This is a stock that we're going to pay attention to tomorrow. However, getting back to trade management, you can't trade in a vacuum. You can't trade with your head in the sand. You have to recognize the order flow. How obvious was the order flow prior to the breakout? Order flow in Apple right now was okay, not awesome. We could still take the trade. We could still have manageable risk. We still have an excellent profit potential up to that 138 level, which is super obvious, but we're still not sizing up. So you have to know when to step on the gas, and you have to know when, okay, I'm still cruising, but I'm not flying down the road right now. It's not open road and you're the only person there. So we have a good $7.5, $8 potential on Apple right now, which means you really don't want to risk more than $2, maybe $2.50 on this trade, depending on where your entry is. So Apple now segueing over into some semiconductor stocks. So sticking with the tech area right now, MRVL. really good bounce, but into resistance. We get above 54. We're cooking with gas there. TSM, again, really good couple of days into resistance. So hopefully Apple is the stimulus to start seeing these stocks rally, and Qualcomm right on that list as well. So you can see a classic technical analysis here. Qualcomm breaking out of what's known as a ascending wedge, for lack of a better way of putting it. One other stock that is near the top of my, you know what, let's actually go through a couple of stocks right now. Eli Lilly, really good pause after a really good violent move to the upside coming off of the BIIB news. Both of them consolidating out of the two. I like Lilly a little bit better today. And last but not least, I want to finish up with Pepsi, which is knocking on the door of the $149 breakout again. And if you zoom out again, like you should know your multiple time frames, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, Pepsi is sitting right at that level. This is one where we have an alert set for 149, not ready to buy the breakout yet. We want to be alerted because it keeps failing up there. Moving our way down to the meme stocks, it seems like AMC is the only one that's trading well right now. The other ones are kind of off the board right now. So look, there's a lot going on right now. If you're finding yourself struggling right now, we had a really good long-term conversation with somebody today in reference to what to do first and not really having conviction. The only way to have conviction is to know what you need to look at first. And that starts with order flow. You need to understand, and I'll post a video below here so you can understand what order flow is. It's how you piggyback the smart money. Once you understand order flow, then the next step is avoiding bad ideas. And then the next step after that is learning how to manage your winning trades, which we're having a lot of conversations like that about in our community right now. Which, by the way, if you want to learn about getting our entries and exits and getting into our real-time community, click the link below the video. It's something I really think you'll enjoy, even if you just try it out for 30 days. It's a great community, just some really, really great people. But the point that I just wanted to finish up on the trade and making sure that you understand that you have to trade the market you're in, and we can't hope to be in a different market. We have to trade this market. So the big thing I want to have in your mind right now is you're going to be looking for breakouts. How many breakouts in individual stocks are happening right now at the same time as the indices breaking out? If the indices are breaking out, but we don't see large cap stocks and what we might call market leaders breaking out as well, it's going to be tough to sustain that. But the opposite of that is if we do get the breakouts and more individual stocks like Apple start to head higher, then we could have something interesting. The financial stocks took a big hit today. Basic materials took a big hit today. Industrial stocks were taking a hit today. So it's interesting how the rotation is going full circle right now. And you really got to be on top of your game. So what you really want to be watching on a day in and day out basis is when we bring this to you every day. This is literally where the smart money is spending its time. And you know what? If that's where the smart money is spending their time, that's where we should be spending our time too, which is what we do every day in our private community. So that's what we got right now. Hopefully you are ready for a big day of trading on Tuesday, June 15th. That's the game plan we just made. I want to ask you for a favor. If you could please do me one. If you find these videos helpful, I really want to help. Leave a comment below and let me know what your biggest challenges are. Let me know what you are feeling is the reason you're not further ahead in your stock trading and seeing your account grow month after month after month. Let me know. We'll have a conversation. You'll inspire some conversations about upcoming videos. Give us a thumbs up if you find this stuff valuable. And definitely click down and subscribe and hit the alert. That would mean the world to me because that means that I'm actually helping you out. Some of you I might meet in person. Some of you I won't, but I still feel like we can have a connection here in this video format. So I want to thank you so much for joining me and choosing to be here today. It really means a lot to me. Apple is going to be the top of the list. I'm going to be watching tomorrow. 1 or 2 healthcare stocks popped out. We're definitely going to be watching those semiconductor stocks and looking for some follow through on maybe getting interesting. The solar stocks, which we mentioned last week, seems like they're rotating one day at a time on follow through. Last but not least, got a couple of people posting comments about not being able to take a stop loss. You need to know where you're getting out of a trade before you get into it. You don't want to hope. That is the worst thing you could be doing. Get control of why you're making money. Get control of the downside so you're around long enough to be around for the winners. All right, so Apple's going to be our focus tomorrow, looking for follow through. 138 is the target we're going to be looking for. Have an awesome day, everybody. I'll speak to you soon.